Thank you, Madam Secretary. The time reads 11:34 a.m. The majority's time will begin now. Madam Secretary, in the interest of efficiency here today, I'm going to ask you one question followed by a list of names. The question can be answered yes or no. If you do indicate yes to any individual, I will come back and revisit that at the end. The question is, have you ever communicated with any of the following people relating to Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell? Richard Kahn,
No.
Darren N. Dyke,
No.
Sarah Kellen,
No.
Doug Band,
Not that I recall.
Lawrence Summers,
No.
Huma Abedin,
Have I ever talked to her about this in preparation for this hearing? I have.
outside of that,
Not that I recall.
Noam Chomsky,
No.
Leslie Groff,
No.
Nadia Marcinkova,
No.
John Luke Brunel,
No. I don't know most of these people. Should I tell you that I know who they are, or just tell you I never talked to them?
just so you never talked to him,
Okay.
it's fine. Alan Dershowitz,
No.
Kathy Rumler,
No.
Bill Richardson,
No.
George Mitchell,
No.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew,
No.
Peter Mandelson,
No.
Reed Hoffman,
No.
Karina Shuliak,
No.
Bill Gates,
No.
Ehud Barak,
No.
Woody Allen,
No.
Sandy Berger,
No.
Jess Staley,
No.
Paul Morris,
No.
Leon Black,
No.
Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayam,
No.
Leslie Wexner,
No.
Jack Kessler,
No.
Mark Middleton,
No.
Harvey Weinstein,
No.
Ellie de Rothschild,
No.
Ariane de Rothschild,
No.
Lynn Forrester de Rothschild,
No.
any other members of the de Rothschild family,
No.
Glenn Dubin,
No.
Eva Anderson Dubin,
No.
Casey Wasserman,
No.
Larry Visoki,
No.
David Rogers,
No.
Ira Magaziner,
No.
Daniel Gilbert,
No.
Karen Ewing,
No.
Stacy Plaskett,
Not that I recall.
Howard Lutnick,
No. Not that I recall.
Steve Bannon,
I don't know if I've ever met him. You all have to introduce me.
I take that as a no.
Just to be absolutely clear, you've asked if I've ever communicated about Jeffrey Epstein, a man I never met, with any of these people, most of whom I've never heard of and certainly not met. That's the
Mr.
premise of your question.
Mr. Epstein or Mrs. Maxwell.
You did not say that.
I did say that in the beginning. I will repeat the
No,
question.
that's okay, but I didn't talk about her with any of these people either. I
Understood.
barely knew her.
David Gergen,
No,
Elon Musk,
no,
Abigail Johnson,
no,
Jeff Bezos,
no,
Larry Page,
no,
Sergey Brin,
no,
Louis Freeh,
no.
A new member arrived. Would they please introduce themselves for the record?
Wes McDowell, Congressional, Missouri First Congressional District.
Thank you, sir.
Can I understand, could you read back the initial premise of your question, because I too did not hear?
Yes, ma'am. Have you ever communicated with any of the following people relating to Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell?
I didn't hear the Maxwell piece,
did not
but we could ask her. It doesn't matter. It's the same answer, but I did not hear the Maxwell name in there.
Understood.
So was the last name you said Larry Page?
It was Sergey Brin.
The last name I stated was Louis Freeh. You indicated no, is that correct?
I think,
Free.
you need free?
Free, yes, ma'am.
Louis
No.
Freeh.
No,
And Sarah Kay.
no. And these are all, to the best of my recollection, as I say, many of these people I've never heard of. Most of these people I've never had a relationship with, although I know their name. Some of them are deceased. But I was not communicating about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, as I understand what you're asking me, contacting people about them. That did not happen.
Is there anyone that you had a conversation with about Ghislaine Maxwell?
Oh, I'm sure I've talked about Ghislaine Maxwell, and especially in preparation for this hearing.
And outside of conversations with your counsel, what did you talk about Ms. Maxwell?
I don't recall any conversations about Miss Maxwell, but I knew her casually, so I can't tell you that I never had a conversation that mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell's name, because I don't recall that.
Understood. And you say that you knew Ms. Maxwell casually. What does that mean?
Just what I said. I knew her primarily as someone who dated someone that I knew,
And who was that individual?
Ted Waite.
And who is Ted Waite?
Ted Waite was a successful, as I recall, software developer.
And roughly, when would the first time Ms. Maxwell would have come up in relation to Mr. Waite?
I don't recall, but, perhaps sometime around 2010, because he was invited to my daughter's wedding and she was his guest.
Have you ever spoken with Ms. Maxwell personally yourself?
I'm sure I have, yes.
Did you estimate on how many occasions?
Not many. I didn't see her very often.
When would the first occasion have been?
I have no recollection.
Did your first interaction with Ms. Maxwell occur while President Clinton was President of the United States and you were First Lady of the United States?
No, I do not recall ever meeting her while Bill was still in the White House.
Did Mr. Waite ever inform you what Ms. Maxwell did for a living?
Not that I recall.
Did anyone ever indicate to you what Ms. Maxwell did for a living?
Not that I recall.
When would the last time have been that you either communicated with Ms. Maxwell, even if not directly yourself, but been around Ms. Maxwell?
The best of my recollection is at the wedding in 2010.
Would you consider Ms. Maxwell a friend?
No,
Would you consider her a friend of President Clinton?
he'll have to answer that.
Would you consider Ms. Maxwell a friend of your daughter?
She probably was friendlier with her than I was because I didn't see her very often.
How often would your daughter have seen Ms. Maxwell?
I have no idea. But again, it was in the context of her being in a relationship with Ted Waite.
Anyone else in your family have a relationship of some kind with Ms. Maxwell?
Well, that's my family. You asked about Bill and Chelsea.
And just to make clear for the record, have you ever met Jeffrey Epstein?
I do not recall ever meeting Jeffrey Epstein. In preparation for this hearing, I was told that he attended an event at the White House that was put on by the White House Historical Association. But I have no recollection of that.
And only that one time at the White House Historical Association?
That's the only time that I'm aware of that I might have possibly been in the same room with him.
Did you have an initial impression of Mr. Epstein?
I have no recollection of Mr. Epstein. I'm just told that he was in a room at a dinner that we were hosting for the White House Historical Association.
What was your understanding of what Mr. Epstein did for work?
I knew nothing about him. He was there as an invited guest by the White House Historical Association. That's my best recollection.
And no one else informed you of what Mr. Epstein did for work?
No, but we had hundreds and thousands of people who came to the White House. I was not informed of what people did or didn't do for work, especially someone that I never even had a conversation with.
Do you know who invited Mr. Epstein to the White House?
I can only tell you what I know, which is that he apparently was a guest invited by the White House Historical Association to attend a dinner to thank people who gave money to the White House Historical Association for the upkeep and maintenance of the White House. That's what I was informed of in preparation for coming here.
Yes, ma'am. And understanding we focused the last few questions on your time in the White House with President Clinton. After that time period of President Clinton's administration, did anyone ever tell you what Mr. Epstein did for a living?
I don't recall ever talking about Mr. Epstein. He was not on my radar. He was not somebody that I had any connection to.
When President Clinton was traveling with Mr. Epstein on Clinton Foundation business, no one associated with the foundation at that time discussed Mr. Epstein with you?
Not that I recall. I was not involved with the foundation. I was a senator from New York, and I was deeply committed to my work, and it became one of the most intense experiences of my life when we were attacked on 9/11. I was not involved with what was happening to create the foundation, to create the work that was done to get low-cost drugs for AIDS. I knew about the work. I didn't know about the details.
Understood. And to be clear, you never had any communication yourself with Mr. Epstein, whether that be face-to-face interaction, phone calls, emails, text
Asked and
messages?
answered. You can answer it again.
I have no recollection in any way of ever having any conversation at the White House or in any other place or on any kind of device of any sort. I knew nothing about him.
And when did you learn of Mr. Epstein's 2006 indictment and subsequent arrest leading to his incarceration in 2008?
I have no idea. I was not paying attention. I was running for re-election in 2006. I ran for president in 2007, 2008. I don't know that I